Hi everyone, I'm Sherry and this is Mom Moments. Today I just want to talk to everybody about a mom win that I had finally. I have been dealing with my middle son who has been having a lot of behavior issues for about a year now. It's been pretty bad to the point where we had to have police involved. He runs away. We have problems at school. So it's basically all encompassing everywhere it's, going on, which, as a parent is very frustrating. It's very hard to deal with. It's hard to keep my house safe. But as many of you special needs parents will know and understand, that's kind of what comes with it. So I've been fighting, trying to get my son all the help that he possibly can have to help him with his behavior. He currently has what's called a CMO. It's like a care manager in our state that is responsible for making sure that he has access to any service that he needs for mental health. He also has, with that, he has 2 different therapies. So he's getting between the 2, 4 hours of therapy a week. He also has a BA, which he has 2 hours of that a week. So it's a pretty hefty schedule for a 10-and-a-half-year-old to, follow every single week. He also has med management appointments once a month, and that doesn't include any regular doctors like pediatricians or, anything. Next step would be for him to go to a partial care program. However, with the way that his behaviors are, we haven't been able to find a partial care program that would actually accept him, because they're worried about his behaviors escalating and, it becoming a problem for them. So we're kind of at a standstill for, I would say, probably about the last 3 months. So I've been doing all kinds of research on my own as much as I possibly can, between managing his behavior, making sure that the rest of my kids and my family are safe. It's, kind of a lot, but I'm trying to do what I can do. So I was researching different things, what would cause my son to have an escalated behavior issue just basically out of the blue. I found information on what's called PANDS or PANDAS. And unfortunately, it is so long, the acronym, that I cannot even remember what it stands for. But if you have a child that has escalated behaviors out of the blue, just look up PANS, PANS, /PANDAS, PANDAS. And you'll get all the information that you need. Basically what it is it's an autoimmune disease where your body is basically trying to fight off a viral infection that has entered your body. And your body is done fighting it, so you don't have the symptoms of that viral infection anymore, but that infection stays dormant in your body, and that is causing your body to fight itself. So you can have inflammation throughout your body, but the main problem is if you have inflammation in your brain, that causes behavior issues. It can cause OCD. It can cause you to make do different tics. There's also a connection with some kind of a feeding disorder or eating disorder, which my son does not have. But pretty much I went down the entire list, and there's 7 to 10 things on the list, and my son has 7. He doesn't have the feeding issue part, but he has pretty much everything else. So I called up the pediatrician 3 times. 2 times I did not get a call back. The 3rd time, I did get a call back, basically because I threatened the person on the phone. I said, I have your name, and if you do not go through and get the message to the nurse for the nurse to call me back to, have me talk to them and try to figure this out, then I will be calling your supervisor and reporting you for not doing your job. Because basically, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. So if you get to a point where you are not getting anywhere, you just kind of basically have to be nasty, have to be pushy, have to be forceful, and do and say whatever you need to do for your child. And that's basically the place that I'm in. So within 10 minutes of that phone call, I got a call back from the nurse. They were able to get me an appointment yesterday for my son at 10 o'clock. We went in. I have a binder that I keep all his IEP information in, his old 504 plan information, any police reports, which yes, we've had them, All behavioral information, any appointments that he's had with his psychiatrist, paperwork, the paperwork from the hospital when I've tried to get him admitted, which is, a fail, which most of you, will understand. So I keep all of that in a big binder. I brought the binder in. I also had videos of how my son reacts when he's having, they call it manic episodes because, he's now diagnosed with bipolar, but I don't believe that it's bipolar. So that's why I'm, trying to move forward and get this testing. So when I showed all that information to the doctor, she was basically shocked and appalled because my son is adopted and we do not have family history information on him. So really the first place that the psychiatrist should have started with all of this is to have him genetic tested, have immuno testing, which is, part of the PANS and PANDAS evaluation that you have to have. We should have, went through his medical history and, had all these testing because we didn't have any answers for anything. We still don't, but this doctor agreed to have him start the blood test that she could offer. And then she gave us a referral for him to go to the rheumatologist for him to have further testing, genetic, immuno testing, anything that, they can possibly think of that might be connected to the reason why he's having these behaviors out of the blue. Now, there are other immunodeficiencies and immuno issues that you can have that are not PANS and PANDAS, but are similar and can affect your child in the same way to, have them have just behavior issues or have them have, ODD, OCD kind of things, tics. Like there's a bunch of immuno answers to it, but you have to have the testing to kind of back up and match the behaviors to say your child has this, your child has that. Diagnosis would help him because there are easier ways of treating this issue. So most of them, like, they give you an SSRI medication to take, which is like, a low medication that's not going to cause all kinds of other problems in their body. Like right now, my son's on mood stabilizers, and that's not, good. That affects, a child's body in different ways than an adult over the long run. So if we can get him off of those medications and get an answer as to what's going on, then that's what we need to do. And that is where we are now. That is my mom win for yesterday, or my mom win for the last year. So I know it's going to take time. We have to, obviously wait for our appointment, which is going to be a little while. The testing that my son has to go through is not going to be fun for me as a parent to take him for these tests and, deal with the behaviors with that and the refusal of doing it and all that. But we're going to get it done one way or the other because we have to. We have to get an answer as to what's going on and how to treat him. So I'm sharing this with you, all you special needs parents out there, regardless of what your situation is, what your child's going through. Keep pushing. If you have to be nasty and don't feel bad about it. Do whatever you need to do and keep pushing. I was told by the pediatrician that she was amazed at how much work that I have done for my child, which kind of shocked me because I'm like, he's my child. Like, I'm his parent. I need to do whatever work I need to do and, fight for whatever I need for him, for these behaviors to change, for his life to be better, to have an answer for treatment and, the long haul and all of that. So I didn't understand like where she was coming from with that. But she told me that in her experience, about 80% of parents get to a point where it's like their breaking point. They push and push and push for answers, for testing, for services, and they constantly get told no, 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 which is what the system of all of this likes to do. And then they get to a point where they're like, I can't do anything. No one's listening. No one's helping me. No one's, coming up with ideas of, what the next step is, all that. So they kind of give up and just deal with it. Well, I was like shocked. I'm like, I don't know how. I mean, as extreme as the behaviors are and as unsafe as my son is, and knowing what I've been through of not being able to get the help, I just don't understand how you give up. How do you live a life where it's chaotic 24 hours a day, where you have to constantly be 5 steps ahead of your child to keep your family safe, your child safe, all of that? I don't know how you give up. I know it's super hard. Believe me, I'm living it. I know it's super hard to go through this every single day. You feel like you're defeated every single day. At the end of the day, you have no energy. Believe me, I truly understand how you feel fighting this and going through this. But please, for your children, do not give up on them. Do not give up on the process. Do what you need to do. Say what you need to say to get your kid the help that they need. If you keep records and you keep pushing, someone will listen. I may take 50 people to go through. It may take 300 people to go through. But someone will eventually listen, and you will get somewhere to get the help that you need for your child. So please do not give up on your child. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope this helps everyone. Have a great day.